Hey everyone, Brett here with another episode of Brett's Brain. Today we're going to give you a couple tips of how to know when it's probably time to shut your company down. I'm Brett Bruhl, former entrepreneur, current venture capitalist. Thanks so much for checking out the channel. Our goal here is to help entrepreneurs succeed. Make sure you like, subscribe, rate, review, share, do all those things, and ask us questions if we can help you in your entrepreneurial journey. All right, bit of a tough topic today. We're going to talk about when to shut your company down and how to know it as an entrepreneur. It's a really hard thing. I've had a couple of successes in my career. I've also had a couple of companies that haven't gone so well and have failed. And so I've been through the downside of this. It's a really, really hard part of the journey, but a lot of entrepreneurs go through it. And one thing that I can tell you is that if you know it's not going to work, or if it's not working, it's actually better to know early rather than later. If the same company isn't going to work, it's better to find it out in 3 months rather than 3 years. Because you can move on to the next thing. You can start your next company. You can start the next chapter of your entrepreneurial journey. So here's a couple of tips of how to think about it and how to be, true to yourself so you can move on to that next thing if things aren't going the way you want them to. Step number 1, give yourself metrics and checkpoints. Make sure you are a metric-driven organization. If you don't have those metrics, how do you know if things are going right or wrong? And make sure that you're actually saying we're going to dive in quarterly, monthly, weekly on our key metrics. So when you first start, set goals and objectives for yourself. Do a year of financial planning and projections. And then track your metrics for that year, for that quarter, for those months and weeks, and then check in regularly against the projections that you created. If things aren't tracking the way you want them to, it should give you reason to take a pause and really think, are we working on the right thing? Are we going the right direction? Are we building the company that we want to build? Do we need to pivot? Do we need to shut down? If you're not tracking your metrics and you don't have those checkpoints, how are you ever going to know? Step number 2, or tip number 2, is be intellectually honest with yourself. And the best way to be intellectually honest with yourself is to use metrics and checkpoints. We love our ideas. We started these companies for reasons. We're passionate about them. It's really easy to fool ourselves into thinking just one more month, just one more customer call, just one new marketing and sales channel, just one more feature. That's a trap that a lot of founders fall into, is the one more feature trap. If we just build this one more feature, everybody's going to love it and use it. Honestly, I found in my career that if the core of your startup or the core of your product is built and it's not working, one more feature is not going to make a difference. So be intellectually honest with yourself and leverage those metrics that you're tracking and those checkpoints that you have to help that intellectual honesty. Tip number 3 ties into both of these things, which is make sure you have good people around you that are willing to be completely blunt and forthright. Now, most people don't think startups are going to work. In my career, I've had lots of people that say, "You're doing what? That's a stupid idea. That's never going to work." So you can't have people that don't know anything just telling you it's not going to work. But have people that understand your industry, that understand your checkpoints that you wanted to get to, understand your projections, understand the metrics of your business that are there to advise you. That when you go to them and talk about the progress that your startup is making, they can give you true feedback that's absolutely transparent and blunt, for better or for worse. So when you are kind of, maybe fooling yourself and think things are going great still, that person can challenge you on it. Not to tell you to stop and quit and stupid, but to say, hey, are you actually thinking about this the right way? They can force you to be more thoughtful about your company. That's what a great advisor or mentor does. They don't give you the answers. Great advisors and mentors give you the questions you should be asking yourself. So don't put yes people around you. Put people that are going to challenge you to be more thoughtful about what it is that you're building. And if you do that, then you're going to be forced to be more intellectually honest with yourself. It's really hard to decide to stop pursuing a company that was your dream at some point. But I promise you, if it's not working and you go through these checkpoints and you don't see a path forward, don't hang on to it just for the sake of hanging on. It's much better to shut it down and move on to the next thing and change the world with your next idea. Get a fresh start. If I hadn't done that early on with a couple of my startups, there's no way I'd be where I am today. I'm really lucky to have had a couple of great mentors that helped me get there because I couldn't have done it by myself early on. If you like this, make sure you share, like, subscribe, do all those things, and ask us questions so we can help you with your entrepreneurial journey.